Welcome. Today's video is about how I recorded my first YouTube video. And just to be clear, this is my first YouTube video, and I'm recording it right now. How did I do it? Ooh. Well, let's see here. I think a little background might be helpful. I have been wanting to make content on YouTube since about 2006 when YouTube first came out. So I've been kicking the can down the road for about 18 years, and I'm finally doing it now. So I guess what I'll talk about is going to be what were the things that stopped me, but most importantly, what was the thing that got me going. Okay, so initially when I wanted to make some YouTube videos, it was a little bit after YouTube launched, and they were getting popular, relatively popular at the time. They were growing, and it looked to me like, oh boy, I missed that boat already. That's what I told myself. That's the story I told myself, and I said, well, maybe I'll do it later, but I think I might have missed that boat, so it's probably too late to start doing it. And then I just sort of like pushed it away and didn't do anything with it. And the desire to do it kept growing over the years, and the longer I waited, the more it looked like, oh, you know what? I don't think I missed the boat back then, but I definitely missed the boat now. Because now it's, got whatever million users. It's really grown now. Surely it's not going to grow anymore. It's at its peak. I've definitely missed the boat. I can't possibly compete with all the other content out there. Blah, 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 blah. Common bullshit story. So, I continued to play that game for a long time. At some point, I got savvy to the fact that really that was just an excuse. It was just a story I was telling myself to not have to face the fear of doing it, which was really what was stopping me. So I did some work around that. I investigated that to a bit. I said, okay, am I shy? Am I camera shy? Yeah. Hey, here's the thing. I was a really shy kid. As a kid, I was actually so shy. I had stammering and stuttering. I used to stammer so bad that I couldn't even speak. I actually had to speak in accents. That was one of the only ways that I could speak with my parents sometimes. So I would put on like a cowboy accent, like, howdy y'all, how y'all doing? And for some reason, doing accents let me get over what was a complete wall of a block speaking. So, there's some history there, but I've done a lot of work on it over the years. I'm 44 years old right now, and I've done an entire lifetime of work around this, and I don't consider myself a shy person anymore. In fact, I am the same person everywhere, whether it's with my friends or with my family or at work or meeting someone for the first time, going on a first date, or with a complete stranger or with my best friend. I'm always the same person. I'm always myself. And it's not an easy thing to pull off. It's been a really yeah, wasn't an easy thing to pull off. Yeah, I'm not perfect at it, but for the most part, regardless of how you know me, people that know me to be who I am. And so it was really this fact that recently got me curious, because it's really suspicious that I am so good at being authentic, so good at being myself in all these situations, except on camera. what is it about that? Is it that I don't have anyone to talk to? And that is a big part of it, I think, is like it's a really artificial setup. Yeah. There's no human in front of me. There's nothing to engage with. There's nothing to interact with. There's nothing to actually respond to. So, how do I be myself under these conditions? And that's the exploration I decided to take. And that's exactly what this is. You see, I don't care if I miss the boat anymore because I'm not doing this for the views. I'm not doing it for traffic. I'm not doing it for approval. I'm doing it to get to investigate why I'm not able to just fluidly, easily, organically be myself under these conditions on this medium. I'm doing it because I'm curious as hell as to why that is. And I'd really like to extend myself, to extend the ability to just be authentic on this medium as well, so that I can connect with a wider group of people. Because the people in my life who connect with me get a lot of value out of it, and I get a lot of value out of it. And social media is just an opportunity to extend that connection quite a bit. So sitting here now and feeling into it, that is a big part of it. I can feel that right now. It's like it's like I'm trying to stand, but I'm floating. There's no ground. I don't know if that's the best analogy. It's like standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon. And I recently visited the Grand Canyon. I'd never been there before. It was pretty fucking cool. It is like standing on the edge of this massive canyon. So there's just all this wide open space of possibility, right? What do I say? What do I do? How do I narrow it down from infinite possibility down to like what I want to express and what I want to say? And under all other conditions, when I'm interacting with another person, I took that for granted because there's a dialogue there, there's a context, there's something going on. Hey, how you doing? You know this person, or you're trying to get to know this person, and that narrows down all the possibilities of what to possibly say or do quite a bit. It gives you a handrail, so to speak, to balance with and to orient yourself. So it's orienting myself, you know. My mind is just like all possibilities. What do I fucking do? What do I say and why? So that's what I'm noticing, is that it's disorienting for me. I don't have a good way to orient myself. You might be thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is, well, you could have note cards or do this or have a script. And it's like, yeah, I could. That's kind of the point. That might help. So I might do that next time. Yeah, just make some bullets on a note card. But I'm really attracted to the possibility of just some free flow here, being authentic. And I don't think a prompt like a note card is kind of a good enough context. But I guess we'll see. I guess I'll just try it out. So that's what this is going to be. I'm going to be experimenting. I'm going to be trying a few things out, and I'm going to share my journey. You know, I'm going to share the journey from being really confused and disoriented and kind of ungrounded on camera, but very, very much firmly myself in other conditions. So it's like I do have a reference point. I do know where I'm going. I'm going to the point where I can be my wonderful self effortlessly under these conditions, standing in front of a camera in a fucking box. So let's do another check-in here. I'm going to do another check-in. Is there fear? I don't really have any fear with this video because I know, at least I told myself, that I'm not going to publish this, that this is just a test run. So I don't have any fear. So the fear is not about standing in front of the camera. The fear is about the implications of it, that it's going to get published. Because as soon as I tell myself, well, maybe you should just publish this, I'm like, whoa, what about the nasal strip on my nose? And what about it's not a beautiful background? And what about, I've got some ums and uhs and, it's not perfectly. These are my thoughts. So I suppose that brings me to my second point about this, which is that it's really important for me to be clear about what my goal is, because those kinds of questions, those kinds of thoughts are given by an invisible goal that wouldn't be occurring for no reason. And the goal along those lines would be like to have the biggest impact possible, or to be as presentable as possible, or to look as good as possible, or to say what I want to say in the best way possible. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and so it's those perfectionist tendencies, but they're always relative to that goal of wanting to do it right. So it's like I want to do it right. So it's been a game changer for me. In fact, this was the one thing that's allowed me to do this now when I couldn't do it before, which is to make my goal something different. You see, that goal of doing it right is just the default goal that happens as a result of my personality when I don't intentionally set a goal. But all it takes to overturn that is to intentionally create a goal and say, nope, this is my goal, and hold to that. And then that default needing to do it right, at least for me, gets overridden. So my intentional goal here, or my intention, is to experiment, investigate why I've been avoiding or not comfortable being myself on camera, and then to practice doing it. Because the only way I can investigate that is to actually do it. And the only way I can actually invoke the real fear of doing it is if I actually publish it. Because if I don't publish it, it's not scary. So, it basically, for me to figure this out, and for me the goal is to do it. It's not to get it right. The goal is literally just to do it, because doing it is sufficient to create doing it and publishing it is sufficient to create the conditions I need to investigate it and master it, get through it. It just requires it to be done. And then anything like excuses just become part of the content. It just becomes what's alive for me, what's going on. So that's what I talk about if that's happening. So this is just really a on the spot, real time investigation into my own psychology with the intention of having a breakthrough, getting comfortable on camera. I'm guessing it's going to take about 20 to 100 to really feel really comfortable being myself. So if that sounds interesting to you, uh, tune in. If it doesn't, don't. Till next time.